What's up, guys? In this video I'm going to show you how to
here in most of these ages though. Okay, so before we end here, hey there, how's it going everybody? In this series of videos, we're going to be learning how to use the matplotlib library in Python. So matplotlib is a plotting library for Python that allows us to create some great looking graphs from our data. So this is used a ton in the data science field and also in applications where we need to visualize our data. So I have the matplotlib website open here, and we can see on their example page that you can make some really nice visualizations using matplotlib. And we'll be learning how to do several of these in this series. So in this video, we're going to be going over the basics of matplotlib and start out with an easy line plot. We'll also learn how to customize the plot style and labels to the axes, add a title, create a legend, and things like that. Now, I'd also like to mention that we do have a sponsor for this series of videos, and that is Brilliant.org. So I really want to thank Brilliant for sponsoring this series, and it would be great if you all could check them out using the link in the description section below and support the sponsors. And I'll talk more about their services in just a bit. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so first, we need to install Matplotlib. So we can do this easily using pip. So I'm going to open my terminal here, and we can simply install this with a pip install. Now, I have a virtual environment activated. You don't need to be using a virtual environment, but in my opinion, it's always a good idea to create a new environment for when you're starting new projects, even if we're just testing stuff out. Now, if you don't know how to create virtual environments, then I'll leave a link to my video explaining those in the description section below. Okay, so to install Matplotlib, we can simply say pip install, and that is matplotlib. So let's install that. And once we have this installed, then we're going to go learn how to create a simple plot. So I'm using Sublime Text for these videos. So I'm going to open up Sublime here. And I just have a new folder here called matplotlib. And I'm currently within this MPL demo .py file here. Now, hey there, how's it going, everybody? And
Sure. Mm. Python. Okay. 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 Dude, I think that is pretty good. That is good.
In this video, we're going to continue learning about map charts and then customize our plot here long. Different numbers here, we are I run this, then we can see that leave that as is. Hey there, how's it going, everybody? Lib is used to type now is at a time. Now let's create Python. Future should continue on 25, but I didn't as easy. First, we want to what we have single plot. At this one, a look at these what we did before. There's the easiest spacing there that pages under in my what added to the plot. So down here at the bottom, actually, let me actually put this below the title here. So I could say plt.legend, and now we can pass in a list of value developers where I said pass in easy. If we look back, a full up a web and a let's say that's general K. To change that up a little bit. The colors and the marker styles and the line styles all in one. These down on there. So if we run add mark head, I put one under what I use going to be for line. Then I'm going to say line the plotter and of if we salary that plot and so you don't want so let's difference. So you could make this also really files method here. It's like. And it's going to show that graph there. Hey there, how's it going, everybody? In this video, we're going to continue learning about Matplotlib and seeing how to create some different types of charts. Specifically, we're going to be looking at bar charts in this video. We're also going to see how to load in data from a CSV instead of just having our data directly within our Python script, because most likely when you're plotting data, the data is going to be coming from another source like a CSV file. Now, I would like to mention that we do have a sponsor for this series of videos, and that is Brilliant.org. So I really want to thank Brilliant for sponsoring the series, and it would be great if you all could check them out using the link in the description section below and support the sponsors. And I'll talk more about their services in just a bit. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so in the last video, we learned the basics of Matplotlib and how to plot some data and customize our plots in different ways. I have a stripped down version of the code that we wrote in that video open up here in my editor. And I'll have a link to this code in the description section below if you'd like to follow along. But just in case you're not continuing from a previous video, let me go over this code really quick. So first we are importing showing it. So when we plotted our data in the last video, we used this plt.plot method. And when you use the plot method, it will use a line plot by default. So if we run this, then we'll see something kind of similar to what we saw at the end of the last video. So we can see that we get a line plot here for the median salary of developers. And again, this is some data that I took from the annual Stack Overflow developer survey. But let's say that we wanted to show this as a bar chart instead. Well, to do that, we can simply use the bar method instead of the plot method. So if I just change this to use bar instead of plot, then we'll have a bar. Bar method, or a bar plot, sorry. And just like that plot method, we can pass in our x values first for our x values and the y values for our y-axis. And additional parameters here can be passed in as well, like color and label. So I'm just going to leave that as is, just like it was with the plot method. And if I run this, then we can see that now this is plotting our data and it's represented as a bar chart instead. Okay, so that is plotting the data for all developers who answered the survey. So like I said, I also have the data for Python and JavaScript developers as well. And right now those are commented out. So what if I wanted to include those in our bar chart? Well, first of all, you can mix and match some plots. So if for some reason you wanted the Python and JavaScript data to remain as line plots and just overlay that onto our bar chart, then we could simply uncomment out our code here, and we could just run these as plots. And that will actually overlay line plots on top of our bar plot. Now, that doesn't make much sense in this situation, but depending on your data, you might find that useful. Okay, but what if we wanted to include these in our bar chart as bars side by side with the other data? So you might think that we could do this just like we did our line plots and just run those using the bar method as well. But that's actually going to give us some issues. So let's try that real quick and see what that does. So I'm going to change these to use bar, so plt.bar. So I'm going to run that. And we can see that this doesn't quite look right. We can't even see the data for all of the developers, and the data for Python and JavaScript is overlapping. So how can we put these side by side? Because right now they're just all stacked on top of each other. So we can do this by offsetting the X values each time we plot some data. Now, I actually think this is a lot harder than it should be. It seems a bit hacky in my opinion, but this is just how we have to do it. So to do this, we're going to have to import NumPy and use that to grab a range of values for our x-axis. Now, if you've never used NumPy before, then don't worry too much about it. It's just going to use one simple function. Now, I believe NumPy should be installed when you install matplotlib, so we should just be able to import it without doing any additional installs. So up here at the top, I'm going to say import NumPy, and I'm going to import that as MP. That's a convention there when using NumPy is to import it as MP. And now, below our X values here, where we have our ages X, I'm going to create a range from these values. So I'm going to say X underscore indexes, and I'm going to set this equal to mp.a range. And I'm going to pass in the length of our ages X list here, as in the length of our ages X list here. And what that's going to do is it's going to create a variable called X indexes, and that is an array of values. And those values